Hello and welcome to today's video. Today this is a get ready with me as I put on this here makeup that you see. This is just a little life update, or really not a life update. This is just me catching up with you. I want to know what's up with you. I wanted to fill you in on what I've been doing, share a couple stories. I highly suggest that you watch my video on like go to like the little settings button and push speed and watch it either on 1.25 or 1.5 settings. I think I'm way more interesting when I'm sped up like that. And so this is just a little try to get ready with me, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Okay, I figured we could fumble our way through a get ready with me. I have a couple of things in my brain for like talking things. Like I want to, I guess the overcap would be, I want to just catch up. I want to know how you guys are doing. I want to know what your weather's like, because in Sweden right now we had like really good weather where it got up to like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and then all of a sudden it started snowing, and now it's kind of wanting to get back to normal. Normal for Sweden, meaning that I think the high tomorrow is like mid 50s. So right now I'm really missing Atlanta weather, and yeah, I would not argue with seeing. I really like the summer, and so I'm kind of missing having our spring actually feel like 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's my kind of weather. But anyways, I was gonna, today I'm gonna talk a little bit about what my trip home was like, visiting my parents, and talk a little bit about my first kind of real Swedish celebration that I saw, called Valborg. And so yeah, we'll just get into that, and I'll try to balance filling you in on what products I'm using. So I use this kind of glow lotion, and then I put this pore filling primer from Revlon in my T-zone. So yeah, that's what we did there. And I'm going to do my eyeshadow first, like I normally do. I'm gonna use some of these lighter shades, maybe orange shade from the Morphe 35M palette and that kind of thing. So hopefully I can balance this. So I'll start with my trip home. So I think I mentioned in previous videos that my parents called kind of last minute and said, hey, you want to come home? And my husband was traveling for work. He had a like conference to go to in Germany, and I just didn't have time to go. And it was a rather small little town, and we weren't sure how things were going. Normally I like to come on conferences with him because it's a great way to go on vacation, kind of, for me. He's working, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the hotel relaxing or things like that. And so this didn't feel like one of those trips, and we were totally right, it wasn't. It was definitely more of a work only kind of trip. And so I told him that my parents had offered to pay for my trip home, and this was, sometime in April. I honestly forget now. And so went home, and oh my gosh, when I left, I had to leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport in time to make like my 6 a.m. flight. And oh my lord, it was so nice because when I left Sweden, it was snowing, which I was yeah, I was not happy. And then I got home, and I realized I got home and forgot to pack all kinds of like appropriate, like really like summer weather, because it was like high 70s, low 80s, so nice. And I completely had forgotten to pack like actual clothes for that kind of weather. So I had to borrow my mom's clothes most of the time. So I'm like wearing her t-shirts. Like we would go, she likes to walk and work out, and so I was having to borrow her t-shirts because I brought long sleeve shirts, which I don't know what I was thinking. But anyways, it was really nice. All they did was we really didn't do too crazy much. My dad owns a number of guns, and so it was fun to go. We spent one afternoon, we went to a shooting range, and just kind of had some fun. And been probably about a year or so since I've last shot a gun. So it was, we bought both rifles and pistols, and we went shooting, and that was really, really nice. The weather was so nice too. I always like just seeing other people at a gun range too. You get to see like different levels of like, there are some people who are just really into it, and you can tell, and they're very skilled and they're fun to watch. And then there were some people with their family, and it's kind of fun to watch like two sons teach their mom how to like shoot a new weapon, which she was obviously very skilled already, but I don't know, it was kind of fun to see. And my mom shot a gun for the first time in her life, even though we've been like a hunting family my whole life, and like we're definitely not afraid of guns. My mom kind of was, and so the fact that my dad talked her into shooting, I think she took like maybe she shot like 3 bullets, and then she was out, she was done, which was really funny. So that was kind of fun. I ate so much fast food, American fast food. So like, it's kind of funny. Sorry, I'm looking for products I need over here. So it's kind of funny that back in the day, like when my husband and I just got married and we were eating, or we were forming our own opinions. We were babies when we got married. But we were forming our opinion, and we used to kind of look down on fast food. We were like, oh, there's so much good food out there, and we didn't want to eat at certain restaurants because we kind of were like, meh. Then we went to grad school, and you realize just how little time you have and how little money you have. And so when we were living in Atlanta, we got into eating like fast food a lot more, like Jimmy John's, Moe's, Chick-fil-A, and I did not realize how much I have come to enjoy those restaurants until you don't have them, like here in Sweden. Like they have McDonald's and Burger King, but it's not the same. And so when I went home to see my parents, that's pretty much all they did was like every meal we were going out to eat, which not good for my drop 10 before summer, but still very delicious. And there's a lot of, the hometown that I'm from in Alabama is actually, has a ton of really good barbecue. And oh my Lord, we ate barbecue like 3 times in the I was there almost 2 weeks. And so good. So good. And actually, so the hometown that I'm from is right outside of Columbus, Georgia. And I don't know how many of you, let me know in the comments too, how many of you are Casey Holmes fan? I really like Casey Holmes. I think she's really sweet. She seems really down to earth for a YouTuber, I guess. I don't know what that means anymore these days. I don't know if you've been watching any of the like drama on YouTube lately, but it's intense. But for Casey Holmes, she seems to stay out of it. I kind of like her. And she moved to Columbus, Georgia recently with her husband because he is an officer in the military. And Fort Benning is right outside of Columbus, Georgia, which is why they're there. And I live in Phoenix City, or my family lives in Phoenix City, Alabama. And so in my head, I'm like, that's the same thing as Columbus, Georgia, but it's pretty big. And so I never, ever expected to run into her. And so I was shocked. My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and I were going to dinner one night in downtown Columbus, and we were riding around looking at the street art, and I spotted her walking down the downtown area in the historic part of downtown. It's really pretty, and there are some great restaurants down there. And so I spot her, and I think I must have scared her because I'm in the back seat, and I'm like, hey, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna jump out, I'll come find you. And I jump out of the car because I'm like, I'm literally going back to Sweden in like 2 or 3 days. Like it's a now or never. I'm never gonna run into this woman again. And so I literally jumped out of a moving vehicle and slowly like got my composure so I didn't like run up to Casey and Davis and scare them. And then I awkwardly, oh my Lord, have any of you ever met like celebrities of any kind? So this happens to me no matter what. Like there's a musical artist that I love, that I've loved since college, named Corey Smith. He's from Athens, and he's kind of like, he used to be probably classified as Athens rock, but now he's classified as more country music. But I've met him because I went to his concert in college. Yes, it was in college, in Macon, Georgia. And so I did the same thing to Casey that I did to him, which I'm just like the most awkward person. I cannot hold a normal conversation with you if I'm like, because I get so wrapped up in my thoughts of like, oh gosh, she's with her husband. I don't want to overwhelm them. What if this is a bad time? Like I don't, but then again, I don't want to, I don't want to overwhelm her by being like, hey, is this a good time to come up to you out of nowhere and introduce myself? So I was just trying to be really polite and keep it short. And I just told her that, I was a fan, that I had been watching her YouTube channel for a long time. And I asked her if I could have a photo with her, and I'll insert it. And I just told her, I said, and then I did this really awkward thing where I'm standing there and I'm like, what am I gonna say next? And I said, so you moved to Columbus, huh? And that's all. And then I was like, yeah, I live in Sweden. And then I realized like, oh my God, you sound so weird. So then I'm panicking, knowing that I'm sounding super weird. And so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go now. And then I like wished her a happy, healthy pregnancy, and that was about it. I'm so awkward. I'm so awkward. I was trying to tell my husband about it later, and like he's dying laughing because I just don't know what to do with myself. Like I'm so awkward. It was cringeworthy. And I wanted to, and so then it's like one of those things where like, okay, I have this photo and I'm excited. I just met someone that I kind of, I appreciate the work she does, and I geek out about makeup over this, just like her, and so I want, like, there's a part of me that like wants to post it on, I wanted to post it on my Instagram or something like that, and I'm like, no. So instead I'm gonna put it in this little video that I know only people who, I don't know, like really are into makeup and probably know and heard of her would see it. So I feel like this is a smaller audience that is likely to see this video and that photo than putting it like all over Instagram. So that's what I'm gonna do. But oh my Lord, please make me feel better in the comments if you are as cringy and like just out of control with weirdness when you meet people as I am, because I literally, like, I walked away and I just like didn't know if I should laugh at myself or cry because of how painfully awkward I was. Let me speed through some brows and then I'll continue on. All right, I'm gonna pick up with bronzer and blush and continue on with my story now. So, yeah, let's fast forward to being back in Sweden. Came back to, again, pretty nice weather, and got really excited because all of a sudden, so my husband and I, we haven't been in Sweden a year yet. August will be a year that we've been here. So we are finding out like last minute, like, oh, there's a holiday coming up. Like, you're not gonna have to work on like Tuesday and Wednesday. I think it was a Tuesday and Wednesday. We found out like the week before and we were like, what is this? turns out it's a holiday in Sweden, but it mostly is just in the town that we live in. So we live in Uppsala, Sweden, which is about 45 minutes by train north of Stockholm. I always get it mixed up. North of Stockholm. And it's almost like it's a suburb of Stockholm. So Stockholm is gigantic and expensive, and there are actually a lot of people who live here in Uppsala because it's way more affordable than living in Stockholm. And so, but one of the biggest draws to living here is that there is a university here, and the university is quite large. In fact, I believe like all the Swedish royalty of some sort have gone through the university here. Like it's just a tradition that this is where the royalty is educated, and they have a ton of international students, I guess you would say. And so the university is quite large, and so it's kind of, from what we were told, it's called Valborg again, and it's kind of a merging of a celebration of both spring and kind of graduation. And so we were told, oh, you live right near, like pretty much near where the celebration is going to go down. And basically what people do is they kind of start partying pretty much early on during the weekend before the Tuesday and Wednesday. But the college students will, on Tuesday, there's a river that goes through the middle of town, and I'll try to throw in some photos here to show you what I'm talking about. There's a river that goes through the middle of town, and that is like they put in somewhere pretty north of downtown, and the students make floats, and they try to, one, make sure they float, and then they race through downtown where the, I guess, race finishes. And people line up in downtown. They line up as far as they can, and there were a lot of people there, and people are just screaming and shouting when or not, like it doesn't get too crazy, but they get pretty excited when these boats turn over, because in downtown there's a little bit of like, the last little bit is like a rapids, and these boats can like flip over and people can fall out. And people also throw water balloons at them, or when they go under bridges, they'll have buckets of water that they filled up from the river and dump them on these people. And so I walked around and got some footage of that, and again, I will throw in some of that footage while I'm doing this. You can watch that. So you saw some footage of what the boat races look like. I'm also going to throw up some images of what it was like. There's a little park right near where we live, and after the boat races, the president of the university does a big speech up at the top of this like beautiful old building, and there's a castle in Uppsala that like, it's all very picturesque. I can throw out some more photos of that. And then people kind of migrate from there, and they move to this little park area right down the road from where we live, and they set up on blankets all day and they drink. And they just, we didn't know what to expect. We were kind of expecting that maybe it would be a little bit more of a rager, but it seemed very chill, very crowded, but very chill. But people just sit up, they bring some food, they drink. There's not really enough room for people to like cook out. And not even a lot of people doing like games or anything, because again, there's so many people out there. They're just all camped out on blankets and they drink. And they drink all day. So my husband and I came home, or he had to work, so I went downtown and saw everything by myself. He came home, and then we were looking around kind of going, all right, let's go see what it looks like. And we walked around outside, and people were pretty chill, they were drinking. Then we came here, did laundry, took a nap, and then we were going to a party that night. Like a friend of ours was throwing a party at their house. They were going to do a little bonfire, which is a popular thing that people do during Valborg. Is there's quite a number of like bonfires throughout town, which we didn't go to any public ones. We just went to the one hosted at our friend's house, and so we went to that, and we had to walk through the park to get to the bus stop one more time. And at that point it was like maybe 7 o'clock, and you could tell people had been drinking all day because they were very drunk. And so we had a good laugh at like seeing people just very wasted. And so that was pretty fun. Yeah, it was pretty fun. We went to the party and we had ourselves a lot of fun. We didn't get home. We were like looking at our watch, and then we realized, oh my God, it's like almost 2 a.m. I think we got home around 2, and like we do not stay out like that. So we were so tired the next day, but we had a lot of fun. And then the weather got super bad again, started snowing again. And so here we are, but it's starting to get better, like I said. And as I put this lipstick on, let me see if I can do this. Okay, we are at the finished look finally, and just to kind of go over some things that I used a lot of items in my project pan. So butter bronzer, I've been really enjoying my Tarte Blush Bazaar, and I've been really using this orange shade. I think it's Fortunate here quite a bit. And so, excuse me, that's what I used as a blush. I think that it's very fun, very spring appropriate color. I used my Amrezy highlighter, which I just love this highlight. It's very pretty. It's not too crazy, but at the same time, it can be built up to be pretty intense. And then I also am wearing Madly in Love by L'Oreal. And it swatches so orange like on my hand, but on my lips I think it turns out to be a little bit more red. Maybe that's just because my lips have some sort of pigmentation in it. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it comes off on camera. In person, it's a little bit more red than I was expecting, but I really like it. On my hand, it almost looks like more orange. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, something to hopefully look forward to is or something I'm looking forward to. My in-laws are coming to town, and they will be here next week. They will be here a week from today, and I'm very excited. They're gonna come to Sweden for about 4 days with my niece, and we're gonna show them around Sweden a little bit, what we know of it. We haven't done a ton of traveling in Sweden, but we're gonna show them a little bit of what we can do in a couple days, and then we are gonna hop on a plane and go to England, and we're gonna go see, we're gonna train around to some different areas. We're gonna mostly stay in London, I think, but we're gonna do a lot of day trips outside of London. I'm really, really, really excited to have them over here, and I hope to be able to get you like what I'm packing travel makeup wise, or like a peek into my travel makeup bag. So if you're interested in seeing that too, let me know. Make sure you say so in the comments, or if you have some other variation of that idea, let me know. But I hope to get that filmed next weekend before they arrive, and then that way I can edit it quickly and get it up hopefully at the beginning of our trip. So a little heads up, the videos might not be as regular come a week from now, but I'm doing my best. I got a lot on my plate right now. I am working a little bit substituting, which I'm both grateful for, because I want to be able to help financially contribute to my household. However, kids will eat substitutes alive, and so it's a lot, but at least I'm working. But on top of working, my husband and I have started taking Swedish for Immigrants classes, meaning that we're trying to learn some Swedish. Maybe in the future I could do a video where I show off a little bit of what the Swedish language sounds like when you're learning how to speak Swedish. My husband is so much better at it than I am. I'm horrible at pronunciation. And so it's pretty dang entertaining to watch me in class, because I just crack myself up and no one else thinks it's funny but me. So we'll see if we can ever figure out a way to incorporate that in a future video. But other than that, I appreciate if you hung out with me this long. Again, please make sure you say hello in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.